Hi everyone, it's Lisa and welcome to Lisa's Stamp Studio. Today is the final episode in my Brusho series and I have got a stunning technique for you. I've got 2 pieces of watercolor paper that I have taped down using this delicate surface frog tape. I found that this works best. Of course you can use painter's tape if you'd like. That's just to anchor it down to help keep the paper from bowing since we're going to add a considerable amount of water. One side we're going to use with this. This is table salt. I've got my spritzer here with water. This is just regular tap water. And I'm going to work on this side first. And I am going to make sure that I cover it heavily with water. Then I'm going to take the yellow and I'm going to sprinkle that on. And you can see how the crystals start to burst as soon as they hit the water. Well, we're going to add a little bit more color. And this time we're going to use the gamboge. And we're going to sprinkle that on as well. We want to create some intensity here so that the technique with the salt is actually going to show through. And then last but not least, let's add in some green. The one thing I found about the green is it has undertones of blue and purple in it. So it really is quite pretty. Now if you're not happy with how it's spreading, which I'm not to be quite honest, I'm going to add a little bit more water. This is the best thing about Brusho is it becomes reactive. Now we're going to add table salt. The first time I did this, I added too much salt. And then when I went to finish it, it didn't look like I had expected it to. Now I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm going to lightly just dab around my edges because I want to make sure it doesn't seep in to my other project that we're going to do next to it. On this side, we are going to spritz it and we're going to saturate it just like we did before. You can see the fine flecks here of the Brusho, how it actually just kind of transfers so easily. So you want to make sure you always have your work surface covered. And this time, look what we're using, Epsom salt. I'm going to grab my Brusho and this time I'm going to use the blue. And you can see the blue is a very intense color. I'm going to add a little bit of the orange. And you can see I need a little bit more water on here to get these colors to interact like I want them to. You can't oversaturate watercolor paper in my opinion, especially for this technique. Okay, so I'm grabbing some Epsom salt and I'm sprinkling this over the top. This is going to have to sit and dry. And the one reason I love using the parchment paper is I'm able to pick this up once I blot this side as well and let it sit. The longer you let it sit, the better. The great thing about this is you can line out the parchment paper and do a whole bunch of these and then come back and have all your backgrounds finished. But I have several for you that are already done. This one is with the table salt. Do you see the small specks that are in here? And if you touch it, it even has kind of a texture to it from the salt. So those small little ping marks are actually left from the salt. When this is dry, all you do is you brush the salt right off. This one is the Epsom salt. Do you see the difference? Look how big and open the specks are from where the salt was left. Now I've got a couple other samples for you. This is the table salt, smaller piece, a lot more color, and you can see the specks here in the center are really prominent. And this one here is the Epsom salt. You can actually see I didn't even wipe it all off. There's a little bit of shimmer from the crystals of the Epsom salt on here. So this is just another way to use your Brusho. I've got table salt on this side and Epsom salt on this side to give you some really fun ideas for backgrounds. You can find pictures of these samples over on my blog post. If you're here from YouTube, you'll find the link in the description below, or you can click on the information button here on the screen. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone. I look forward to seeing you next week with another quick tip. Have a great day.